let's change our focus now and look at ways that you might be able to make some of these individual views or files of parts that require modification or new. And then, of course, this has really kind of already been done uh, as we've as we've worked together. But I'll go and show a little bit more on that also. So let's take a look at a way we can make a new type of a file. This is a spreadsheet, and you don't have to do it this way, but it's a good skill, and I'd like to show it to you. So I know that there are some parts. There's this post, this pier, this Simpson strong tie. I could do the same thing for the nuts and the bolts, and for the bags of sand, and but I'll do this for these three to show you what this looks like. So I've made a new thing, and I've said that there are some items. There's some sort of description for them. I'm going to put an image in here, and then I'm going to get some sort of a link to where I got that image from. And then I'm going to show you how to do a type that will either be, I'm going to make it, modify it, or purchase it. So let me start with item one. I don't remember what order I went in, but I think this was the post support bracket. And if it doesn't quite fit, you can get up to that little line up at the end of the column, hold my left mouse down and move it over. Now I've got this image. Now I want my image to be a little bit bigger than that. And I have to get that image, but I had one. I have it here in my drive. And so I'm going to put this image in there. I think this is the image. See, yeah, that's my image. I want that image to be in there. So the easiest way to do that is right click and download. And then you're going to see a really cool trick. I can go to insert and image inside that cell. And then I can drag that PNG up in there. There it is. And it's in the cell. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? Now my source, I'd probably have to go look that up. That's going to be my strong tie home page. And I could either be here or I could look at post port. I just want you to get used to kind of doing some of this kind of stay. Here it is right here. There's post. There it is. WB or UB. If I click on that, here's where I got that information. So I can right click and copy that and put that in here. And what was that? UB post bracket. UB post bracket. And to make that a link, I highlight the cell. I go to the link button and I paste that URL in there. Now, there's all sorts of things I can do here. I can make it look better if you know all those tools. That's good. If you don't, that's okay. Now, what type is this? Is it a make, a modify, or a purchase? Here's a really cool thing, and you don't have to do this. You can just type it in. But I can say, I want that to be filled in with a certain type of data. So I go data and validate. Kind of weird that they call it that, but I'm going to validate the data. And I'm going to get my information in this criteria. Click. I want anything in any of those. Now this little arrow shows up, and it only lets me pick those. Purchase. Isn't that cool? And then, of course, I can do the same thing over here, make it look all really good. Now, once those are there, you may not want to see them over here, so you can either hide that column, right-click, hide the column, or you could just make them all with white letters. Or you could do both. Oh, my gosh. And that's just kind of fun. You don't have to do it. But that's how you can do these. Now you might take everything in that row and make it middle centered. You can do all sorts of stuff to format this as you play with this. If you already know it, it's pretty easy. If you don't know it, it's a fun time to start thinking about some of these things. Okay, you can paint those so that they're maybe a little bit darker and with white, bold. These might want to be in the middle. Once you've done this a few times, it starts to get a little easier. So if you feel like it, if you have time, you might want to do this. Now, this one thing would work for both because if you're going to make it, you'll say you're making it. If you're going to modify it, so this little column here lets you do all of those. So every item from this week you can do that way. Now these might get centered up too much better. And then some people like to kind of border those up so it looks more like a formal table. So there we go. There's a little bit on how to make these extra files. And then in a moment I'll show you how to do this last one. There we go.